Rock stars, Eric Andres, your guitar sage here. Today we're going to be talking about why should I learn and play scales. I get this question all the time. Why should I learn and play scales? We're going to talk about that. I'm also going to tell you what a scale is, what can you do with it, and some other various pieces, what you can do with it, why you need to know it. The two scales that I would recommend out of any scales, the two scales that I would recommend that you're going to use 99.9% of the time, and the other ones you're only going to use 0.11111% of the time. 0.0001% of the time. Very little will you use those other scales. So we're going to talk about, I'm going to show these scales to you. We're going to know them by name, and I'm going to show you how each scale will literally turn into 12 different scales, because the guitar is that cool. We can do this really cool little trick, all right? Now, our new format, friends, in order for me to deliver all this content to you, I cannot get to the chat. So I will not be doing that today. I apologize. But there's so many different ways you can get in touch with me. Here's some of the ways. UGS Pro, if you're in there already, do that. If you're not in UGS Pro, you can get started today with that same link right there. And in fact, I'll get you started with UGS Standard for absolutely free. The top 30 lessons I teach all my students. You can do it just by literally going there. Or better yet, I'll do it for you if you text UGS to this number right here. Just type UGS. Actually, no, I take that back. Type in free to this number. F-R-E-E, yeah, spelled it right. F-R-E-E to that number right there, and I will get you set up with the Unstoppable Guitar System Standard, okay? Otherwise, if you just want to be in touch with me via text there, type UGS. You can unsubscribe from that at any point, okay? All right, friends, let's do this. Oh, before we start, really quickly, like this video, yeah? Take a moment. We're talking about it. You might as well, all right? Like this video. Share it with a friend. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. By doing so, you're saying, Eric, thank you. I really do appreciate all the time and energy that you put into these thousands of videos that I give you, and the free ebooks and the free courses and the guitars that I gave away and everything else. It's your way of saying thank you to me. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, let's talk about it. Number one, what is a scale? Why do we need to know it? What can we do with it? Why do you need to know it? All the rest, okay? So first off, a scale is a set of musical notes ordered by fundamental pitch. That is the technical definition of the musical scale. A set of musical notes ordered by fundamental pitch. Now, I'm going to take a little liberty with that definition, and I'm just going to say it's a set of musical notes, okay? Because fundamental is a little bit more defined, and in fact there are many different types of scales. Any scale that you can imagine, it's out there, and if not, then you can name it yourself, and now you've got your own scale with your own name. But nonetheless, it's literally just a set of notes. Now, when we play them from the low note to the high note, usually we play them from octave to octave. That's known as an ascending scale. If we're going from the low note to the high note, if we're going down, that's called a descending, just like we're descending stairs or ascending stairs, okay? Now, that's what the definition of a scale is. Now, what can you do with a scale? Well, there's lots of things that you can do with scales. Number one, they're great for literally just dexterity exercise, right? Just getting used to your fingers moving and not playing just like exercises. Now, why would we want to do that as opposed to playing a scale? Here's why. You never see your favorite artists get up on stage and play exercises. Although exercises are good, in fact, the 365 guitar plan is filled with exercises, but those specifically are pulling you out of your comfort zone and into areas that are purposely going to push you, right? You know that if you don't grow in a particular area, whether that's your health or spirit or your emotions or your relationships or guitar or anything like that, if you're not growing in those areas, you're going to be dissatisfied Friends, we're here to live and live life fully. So you got to grow. And if you're not growing, you're going to feel dissatisfaction, okay? So we got to grow. That's what 365 Guitar Plan's all about. And exercises are great. I endorse them. I prescribe them all the time for specific things, typically just for technique. But once we get past the technique part, right, with this exercise 1, like I show you in UGS Standard, the one I'm providing for you for free today, first link below, those are great, but they're not going to help you musically. I like exercises like that because sometimes if you're playing something musically like this, like the major scale, you may say, well, that sounds great, I'm playing it right, when in fact the technique may be off, okay? So just understand, exercises for that scales, however, are going to be more musical. There's going to be some sort of pattern to those scales, even if it's the chromatic scale, right? Or the major scale, or the pentatonic scale. Now, so you can use them as exercises, ones that are actually more musical. So if you're practicing just these exercises that are chromatic or don't really have any sort of bass in what we call diatonic harmony or harmony, which is based on the major scale, then if we're not doing that, then we're really not getting familiar with music. So that's one reason why we would want to play scales, is you're attenuating your ear, not attenuating, I'm using that word wrong. You are basically tuning your ear to the major scale. 99.9% of all music is based around the major scale, even if it's in a minor key, jazz modes, pentatonic scale, all that all comes back to the major scale. I can't explain all that to you right now. If you're in the system, I can explain that more to you. If you're watching more videos, it will be revealed to you, right? But suffice to say that the major scale specifically is going to give you a good idea of what harmony is all about, what chords are all about, if you go down this rabbit hole with me, okay? Now, so that's one reason, is that you're going to be doing exercises, but they're going to be something that pay off later. For instance, if I'm playing through these scale forms, you know, there's so many different ways that we can play this. This helps me navigate the neck in ways that when I want to improvise or songwrite or come up with parts in the studio, what have you, I've got some sort of basis that's centered around that which sounds good, diatonic harmony, okay? All right, so that's one reason. The other reason is improvisation. We've got something to work with. If you're just working with dexterity exercises, you're not going to have the proper interval distances underneath your fingers, which are going to help you understand music more, okay? Now, my two favorite scales, and the ones that I would prescribe to you the most, are the major scale and the pentatonic scale. The pentatonic scale is a derivative of the major scale. Within the major scale, if we play the major scale from 1 to 1, we've got the major scale, also known as the Ionian mode. If we play that scale from 2 to 2, or we have the Dorian mode. And then we could go all through these, each one, and we're going to have, you know, the Lydian, the Mixolydian, the Dorian, you have all the different forms. I've got videos on this. Search YourGuitarSage modes, or better yet, if you're inside UGS Pro, I have a whole course on the modes that tell you about them and like how you might use them and that sort of thing. But suffice to say that the major scale has all the modes hidden within them. Yeah, it's true. So once you learn one major scale, you know it in all 12 keys, because each scale, to change the key, the only thing you have to do is this, at least on the guitar. Now on piano it's totally different. You totally different fingering. You have to think about all the sharps and flats. It's a pain in the butt, right? Not on guitar. Here's G major. Fingering's the same for G sharp major. Same for A major, A sharp major, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, and so on and so forth. It's literally the same fingering every single time. So when you learn one fingering, you're learning them in 12 different keys. Boom, that's awesome. Then if you understand that all the modes are hidden inside there, starting, in case the 1, we're starting in the 1, that's the Ionian, 2, Dorian, and so on and so forth. You have them all underneath your fingers. Again, I can't get into all of that right now. We just don't have the time. Heck, I can't even get to all your comments, which we're not doing today. Difficult for me to get to everything and pack it all in. So why the major scale? The major scale is so important because it's literally the construction is going to help you with the construction of all the chords as I teach you, as any guitar teacher is going to teach you. If they're worth their salt, their weight, what's the expression, worth their weight in salt, whatever it is. If they know what they're talking about, they're going to teach you that major scale unfolds to all the different modes and everything else, okay? It's also going to help you with understanding harmony, where our chords come from. If we can stack these harmonies up, like the 1, 3, 5, off of each one of these notes, then we get our major chord, major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, major. And it's like that for every single major key. If we wanted to do that from the minor key, then we would just start, or the minor tonal center, we would just start from the 6. Now I know some of this is going over your heads, friends, because I'm giving a lot. This is the fire hose technique here that I'm giving you as much as possible. I understand that some of it's going over your head. It should. I understand that, right? But that's why I give you all the other videos that I give you to fill in the blanks. Obviously, UGS Standard is going to help you the most because it's going to build that solid foundation. Okay, so the major scale. Number 1, as far as understanding theory and what have you. You're also going to use it for your harmonizations and stuff. You can use it for improvisation, soloing, coming up with parts. I do this all the time. If I didn't have these shapes in front of me on the fretboard, I wouldn't know what to play. Neither would any other guitar player. There's no other guitar player in the history of guitar playing that is not looking at some sort of pattern on the fretboard. Whether they say they know music theory or say they know scales or not, they do. They just don't know that they know it. Does that make sense? They're definitely working with some sort of patterns, and those patterns are based around what sounds good to the ear, which is based around diatonic harmony, which is based around the major scale. It all is. Trust me, I've done this for a little while. It is 100% true. So understand that when you see Dave Grohl or somebody else saying, I don't know anything about theory, I don't know anything about scales, they indeed do. I trust that they don't think that they do, but they definitely do. Okay, they're following some patterns there, and this is what it's based around. So know the major scale as far as understanding music theory and that sort of thing. Know the pentatonic scale, which I have a video for this, the 2 most important scales in the world or something like that, or search YourGuitarSage scales on YouTube. You're going to find more about that. Okay, pentatonic scale is the 5-note scale. It just takes a few of the notes out of the major scale. In fact, let's talk about them. The 1, the 2, the 3, the 5, the 6, and that's it. And then we go straight to the 1. So we're skipping the 4, we're skipping the 7. It goes 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1. Back to the 1. Usually when we play a scale, it starts on the tonal center, or the root, the key, in this case G, and then we play from the G, or the tonal center, the 1 to the 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Or we could play 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1. But nonetheless, it starts on the 1 and ends on the 1. That's just for our ear to get used to the sound coming back home. Make sense? Sure it does. All right, so you've got to know the major scale. There it is. Okay, it's there for you. Again, I've got videos for this if you want more. Otherwise, slow this down. If you want to know the G major scale, here it is. 2nd position, you're going to play fingers 2 and 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 3, 4. Now this is super valuable because, friends, you literally can play this in any key. I'm playing it in all the different keys, and it's literally the same fingering every single time. And then for the formula for the pentatonic scale, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1. That's literally it. So you could move that up the fretboard. Right? Or sorry, yeah. This is a great one for improvisation. Why? Because this really does have lots of fundamental notes in it. And what we mean by those basic notes that really resonate well with the other notes, especially if you're playing, improvisation, if you're coming up with notes for a solo. Or for parts for a song. Those are the ones that are going to sound the best, okay? We've taken a few notes out of there. Tom Petty loves the pentatonic scale. Americana, country music loves the pentatonic scale. Blues, real rootsy music. Americana, I said. All those real rootsy types of music love the pentatonic scale, so get used to it. All right, friends, I'm trying to pack in as much as possible for you. I'm sorry I can't get to the comments. We just can't with this new format, with everything we're doing. But you know, there's so many different ways that you can get in touch with me. UGS Pro. If you're not in UGS Friends, get in there today. What are you waiting for? I'm literally giving you, or visit me in Nashville, and we'll do the lessons together, and it'll be a minimum of $1,000 for my time for going through the same stuff that I'm giving to you for free. That's right. It's the very first link below. Just when you get to that page, you can get into Pro or you can get into Standard, which is absolutely free. Many different ways to get in touch with me. Also on social, I got lots of places you can get in touch with me, friends. And I try to get to those questions all the time, especially on Instagram. If you direct message me, I can actually send you audio message back if it's a more detailed type of thing. Last way you can get in touch with me is via text. Just type in UGS to 833-744-0154. Then this way we'll communicate with each other. If you would like me to get you set up with UGS Standard for free, to that same number, type in FREE, and I'll do the work for you. My friends, thank you so much. I love doing these for you. Hopefully it helps. You know what to do. Like it if you did like this video, please go ahead and hit thumbs up. It really does help. Also, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share this with a friend. All right, I'm out of here.